Webinar. Inspiration Software is the embroidery software line of G7 Solutions and Designs in Machine Embroidery. Our Inspiration Software line includes My Block Piecer, My Quilt Embellisher, Perfect Embroidery Pro, and Perfect Stitch Viewer. Tonight's webinar features our My Block Piecer and My Quilt Embellisher. What happens in the hoop stays in the hoop. We have a wonderful team tonight assisting us. Dory Nanry, Manager of the Tech Support, Nancy, Chris, Bob, Debbie. I would also like to mention Nancy Snyder, Vice President of Marketing, is with us tonight. And of course, Tamara Evans, our speaker, whom I will first switch over to Nancy Snyder and then over to Tamara.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dory and Bob and Nancy and Chris and everybody who's joined us this evening to answer all these questions. This is an exciting webinar this evening. We're going to learn all about precision power piecing in the hoop and how it's just a few clicks away with My Block Piecer, and that how, you know, that finishing product of embellishing in the My Quilt Embellisher is again just a few clicks away. So before we get started with Ms. Tamara this evening, the one thing I do want to remind you is to please make sure that you register early for all future webinars. We do fill up quickly. There's only 1,000 seats available per session, and we're booked throughout the year, all the way through 2015. If you want to know how to access these webinars, go to inspiredbydime.com. Look at the menu on the right-hand side, and at the bottom you'll see a little button called Inspiration Webinars. Just click and register for any and all that you would like to attend. And we appreciate every one of you joining us this evening. And I don't want to delay too much further. I know Tamara has a lot to share with us this evening on My Quilt Embellisher and My Block Piecer. And with that, Ms. Tamara, tell us about what happens in the hoop stays in the hoop.
That's right, Nancy. Thank you very much, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I know we're all putting off watching the election returns for an hour or so, but hopefully all of the returns will be in your favor. So without further ado, let's get started with what happens in the hoop stays in the hoop. And basically what I want to teach you guys tonight is that you can piece in the hoop, leave it in the hoop, and embellish it in the same hooping, which eliminates all of that hassle about figuring out exactly how to line up your designs with the piecing and all of that. I've got 3 different samples to show you in the software this evening. So let's get started right now. As always, any questions that you write in, if we don't address them during the webinar, you will be responded to by an email, a personal email. So we look forward to hearing what you have to say and your questions. And by the way, the previous webinars are now up online. I know a lot of you have been anxious to watch them or rewatch them, and they are all available in the same place that you go to for, to sign up for the new webinars. Just scroll down to the bottom of the screen and you will see them there. All right, so let's get started. Here's the My Today page. I hope everybody's downloaded their 5 free designs that they get with each of the software programs. And we'll just skip through that. I already have a page open. And I am in My Block Piecer. The first thing I want to do is come over to My Block catalog and click on that. The block I want to select is in the Foundation Blocks, Traditional Pieced, and I want this paper diamond in a square. So I'll select it. Let me select a size. Let's do custom size. I want to do it 7.5 inches because I know I have a hoop that will fit that, and click OK. Now the block is displayed on my screen, and let me double check the size. Yes, it is exactly 7.5 inches, and that is the finished size. I don't worry about seam allowances hardly ever because the program takes care of that for me. So I see my block, and it's a square and a square and a square, or a diamond and a square, however you want to put it. Now this block is great for adding a design in the middle of it. So if I go to my block library, I can select, let's see, we could do our inspiration collections. Let's do that. I could put a butterfly in there. From those, I could also go to, let's do my block piece or free designs. If you haven't checked these out, there's some really pretty designs in here. I especially like the ones down here, the blue work. I think they're very pretty. And I'm getting ahead of myself. I just realized I want to build this block before I decorate it. So the first thing I want to do now that I have my block on the screen is select all of it and go to my workflow tool up here in the top left-hand corner. I will create my workflow units by selecting on that, and then just click. I've already got my 200 by 200 Baby Lock Brother hoop selected, or whatever hoop is appropriate for your machine, and I'm going to click Auto Build. I just digitized my design. Now let's take a look at it by clicking Preview. Oh, I need to select a larger hoop. Actually, I need to change the size of my design if it won't fit in there. So I'll come over to Transform, and let's make this a 7 by 7 inch design and apply. Now it's a little bit smaller. I'll go through my workflow tool, and let's auto build again. Click Preview, and there we go. I can stitch this whole thing in a single design in my 200 by 200 millimeter hoop. So that's great. We will save it, and let's just call it Diamond Square, S-Q-U-A-R-E, and I want to save it in the format for my machine, which would be, in this case, PEZ, and click Save. Now when it does that, if you recall, it brings up my design, and it's only one design because I can do this in all-in-one hooping. It brings up my artwork that's saved in C2S and my preview of how I'm going to stitch this out. In this PDF preview, it's got everything listed, all of my, and the picture of my design, and most importantly, my step-by-step instructions for how to piece this block in the hoop. So we are good to go there. Now I can also take this and run it through the cutter, but we're not going to focus on the cutter tonight. We're just going to focus on building the design. I would recommend that you go back and watch the basics on how to build a block in the hoop, because we do cover the cutter elements in that. Now I'm going to switch down here to my quilt embellisher and create a new design, excuse me, and go to my library, and if I scroll down, I should see that diamond square design. I do. Here's the one where I piece it in the hoop, and here's my artwork. I'm just going to drag that onto my screen. I like to center it. There's some places in my life where I really am organized, and this is one of them. Maybe the only one, but there's my block on the screen. Now, the first thing I want to do, I want to put a design in the center of this. So let's go over here at the bottom right-hand corner to the design library where we are, and I'm going to select, I could do my block piece or free designs or my quilt embellisher free designs. Those are also lovely. These came with your software or your update when you got it. And let's pick, I love these kind of Jacobean Dutch looking artwork. I'm going to pick this design and just pull it into the center. Now, if I just have that design selected and, oops, this design selected, it comes in grouped from the library. I hold my Control key down and select the square that's under it, which is still grouped. Let's ungroup this square. Ungroup. So we can deal with the individual elements. Since I pulled it in from the library, it comes in grouped. Now, I click on this and the square that's under it, because I want that centered in that square, I just do a vertical center align and a horizontal center align. And let's move that back where it was. Okay, so I'm just going to fudge it then. I'm going to squeeze this in a little bit this way and this way. And now we have a design in the center of our block. Now you could use any design you want to with this. I just want to use, I'm going to do undo so I get that square back where it's supposed to be. Exactly. I love undo. Okay, so now here's my design. I'm just going to squish it in a little bit so that it looks relatively centered. I can eyeball it, or I could actually measure it, which I'm probably never going to do. So I click on that. Let's look at it in 3D. Okay, it's a very lovely design. Now that's going to stitch in the center of that block. I've stitched that block out in my hoop. My hoop is still on the machine when I go to do this. So I'm going to decorate it before I ever take my hoop off. And I will select, let's look at the sequence view. I want to select all of the light pink and convert that to stitches by, I could select a stipple design for it, which kind of looks really pretty. Or I could do any of the advanced stippling designs or the shape echo, any of those. But I really kind of like the stipple design. And maybe I'll audition one of the other stipples like piano and click apply. So it kind of gives it a vertical look. Now I'm going to select the artwork that goes around the corner. I can do that either by clicking on it and holding down the control keys to select all 4 corners, or I could select those 4 over here on the right-hand side in my sequence view. Once I have them selected, I can convert those to stitches. And perhaps I want to do a shape echo. Shape echo is one of my favorites. And I'll click on something like, well, we could do a square. Let's see what happens with that. And click OK. Well, that's not bad, really. Although the center of my square is not in the center of my design. If I combine these, let's see what happens. They're still selected. I click on Combine up here at the top. And I think that looks a little better with them combined. Let's try, let's uncombine them, and let's try a different design. I can spend a lot of time actually, hang on, let's select the 4 corners again. Now there are fills. I can spend a lot of time auditioning stitches before I ever thread my machine. Here are some advanced stipple designs. And maybe I want a little more of a rectangular look. Let's try, some of these I've never tried. Let's try one I haven't tried. Let's try this stipple right here. There's 294 of them. I want to make that one bigger, so I come over here to the right to my pattern length and just change it. It's 10 millimeters. Let's see what 25 millimeters looks like. Okay, well that's really busy. I don't think I like that at all. Let's go back to our advanced stipple over here and select something a little simpler. Kaboom. Let's see what that looks like. Well, that's rather pretty. It kind of clashes with the other stipple we have going on, but I could just do, let's go back to the shape echo. Let's do a circle. Make it simple. Click OK. Wow, that's not simple, but if we combine it, Then, oh, I like that a lot better. It does it like around the whole block. Now I'm going to come over here and change my density in the properties. It's very simple. I just will double the distance between my rows of stitches. Okay, and that's a good look. I like that. I am going to select all of that, right-click, and create a border, which will put a run stitch outline around my four corners. Now I have a design that I can save in the format from my machine, and before I ever take that hoop, that block out of the hoop, I load this design and I stitch it directly on that block. How simple is that? It's very simple. I'll answer my own question. Okay.
It is very simple.
Yes. Okay, so the next block I want to do, let's go back over to my block piecer, and I'll open a new design. And this one's kind of fun. I'm going to do, go back to my block library and look for 9 patch. And I'll click the arrow next to it. I want the simple 9 patch right here. And in that, I found a really interesting block that I like right here called Stairway. So I'm going to select the size for that. Let's do we'll do a custom size. We'll do 7 inches and click OK. So you have all of this different stuff going on. You know, you've got the stairway that you can kind of see in the middle there, and a lighter orange and a medium orange, a lighter orange, and kind of a red. So we have 3 colors. If I look at the sequence view, I see all 3. Let's audition some fabric for this one. I want to just see how it would look with different fabric. So I will select a color such as, let's do the darkest color first, and go to my fabric library right over here that comes with the software when you purchase it. Click on the fabric library. I actually rebooted my computer before I started tonight, so this will take a minute. The first time you open it, after you've rebooted, it's no longer in memory, so it takes a second for it to come up. And there we go. And I want to go into Moda, and they have a fabric collection in here I really like that's called Awesome. And for those dark steps, I want to try a dark color. Let's do this green with the dots on it. Okay, well that's not awful yet. Then I'm going to select the medium orange, which is this square down here, and let's do something fun with that. I go back to my fabrics, and it takes me back into the original library that I used, that original folder. So I could select the green leaves that go with that. And that's kind of interesting. And then I'll select the lighter peachy orange color. And I want to do something fairly neutral there from the same collection, or I could change collections. Ooh, I kind of like this gold right there. And click OK. Well, that's okay. I'm not sure I'm crazy about this orange down there. That was our medium orange. So I'm going to select it again so I can continue to audition fabrics to my heart's content. Let's do that color. Well, that gives me a little more contrast, maybe a little too much. You know, we could do this all day. So I'm just going to select something, and let's do that one. Okay. Oh, that's pretty. I kind of like that. All right. Now, I'm going to, again, because I'm in my block piecer, I'm going to select everything. I could do a Control-A or drag a box around it, and then come over here to my workflow tool to create my units. If I do auto build, it just created my design for me. You can see it's got them all numbered, and here's the sequence. Let me sort the numbers so that they're in numerical order in the sequence they will be stitched. And I say yes because I haven't cut anything yet. Now you can see here's piece 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's going to be, looks like it might all be in one hooping. Let's look at the preview. And sure enough, it is. Now, I will tell you right now, if it's not all in one hooping, it doesn't matter. You just do the sections as they are created, and when you do the last design, if this had more than one design here, on the last design, leave it in the hoop, load your decorating design, and it will work perfectly because everything is fitting in that hoop. Okay. So we can save this, and I'm going to save this as, oops, in designs, let's save it as stairs, staircase, and click save. Oh, and our format, we'll do it in PEZ again. Click save, and it does bring up our staircase design, the artwork, which actually has the fabric with it, but you'll see in a minute, and our preview, so we can look at the whole design and our stitching sequence, which is very important, personalized and sized to your specifications. Let's close that and close this, and I'll show you real quick here with the cutter. If I click on the cutter, oops, I need to select a larger hoop. Let's do this with the, I'm going to do it on my silhouette. I could use a scan and cut, but I don't have one yet. And I'm going to select the 12 by 12. So here are my designs, or my pieces. I need these patches out of this color. Out of this color, I need these patches. And out of that one color, I need that patch. If I wanted to do 4 of these, which I think would look really cool because it's got that smaller rectangle at the bottom left, I could do 4 repeats down here and click apply. And now I might want to dig out my 12 by 24 hoop. There we go. So I've got 2 hoopings for that. I have one for my dark green and one for my orange, but I'm going to get all of the patches I need out of that cutting. I could also do that in a hoop. I could do that printed on paper and cut them out as templates, or measure them and then cut them out with my rotary cutter, however you want to do it, which is the beauty of this program. You get to do it your way. So I can save that. If I saved it now, I would save it in an SVG format for my machine. We'll call it stair cut. And I would do SVG, which, sorry, I've got to scroll down, and I can do SVG. I could do the Brother FCM for the scan and cut, whichever one I have. Oops, SVG. And click Save. And again, I've got all of my different hoopings of these files and the preview of what they look like with my fabric, which is extremely helpful to me, so I know which ones I'm doing where. Okay, so that is your the cutting. Now that we've saved this, we can simply open up My Quilt Embellisher down here at the bottom and get a new file up, come over to our library, and I called that staircase. Ooh, I don't see it there yet. So I'm going to right-click and say refresh because this library has been open since I saved that. So now here's my staircase. I'm going to pull in the artwork design to the center of my design screen. I'm going to right click and click Center Origin so it's in the middle and it's organized. If I look over here at my size, this is exactly the size that I set up for that block. So I don't have to change anything. And now I have my pretty block. It could have already been stitched on my machine. And I want to look at my sequence view. I can, at this point, see it still uses the original colors even though I've got the pattern up here with the fabrics on it. At this point, I could audition designs in that. Perhaps I would like to go into my embellishment designs. Of course, as you saw before, I can use any design that I have out there. I could come in here and just kind of scroll through and see what different designs I have. And I want to use a triangle design, like up in this area. And, oh, I think I want to use owls. So it's kind of a fall design. I don't know why owls make me think of fall, but I'm going to select the owls, click OK. And when they come in, you'll notice over here, I have a green outline that's around them. This is artwork. That is in there, so if I wanted to create a backdrop and combine them and do something like stippling or shape echo around it, I could. But I don't need the artwork here, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I just select it and click delete, and it's gone. Now I'm going to take my little owls and rotate them so they're the corner that I need. I'll move them up here and just eyeball this. I want to make it big enough to fill the area in a nice way. Let's look at it in 3D. Oh, they're so cute. And maybe up a little higher. Oops, not that high because I'm going to touch. I don't want to go past my finished edge here. So I think that looks really cute. I can also change their color. If I want to change the color to reflect more of what I'm doing with the thread, I can change that to tobacco or whatever color I want to use. Then I think maybe another owl down here would also be rather adorable. So I'm going to take this owl, click OK, bring it in. I'm going to select just the outline and delete that again because I don't need it. And I kind of need to shrink him down a little bit. The wonderful thing about all of the embellishment designs is that they scale beautifully. It will recalculate the running stitches for you. I'm not sure which way I want him to be or her. Let's see, maybe a little bit smaller. Whoops. Here's my favorite key, undo, right up here at the top, so I can move that block back to where it was. All right, let's select my owl again, right here, and make it just a wee bit smaller this way. Of course, I could always come over here and click on transform and make it a specific size, but I don't do math if I can help it. So there's my cute little owl there. And won't that be cute with 4 of them going around the center if I have 4 blocks together? And I can change its color as well. I'll right click on the number 13, which is that brown color. And now it's that brown color. Which leaves me now with these blocks here. Now I could convert them to stitches, but really this is going to be a very quick quilt to make, or wall hanging or whatever it's going to be. I just want to do something very simple. I don't have to convert artwork to stitches. I could actually select a run stitch up here and come in and put in my own run stitch path. For example, if I want to just click on this and stitch in the ditch, I can do that. So there we go there. I'm going to come back here and up and there, and up, and there, and up. And now when I right click, I've outlined that whole area, some of it better than other. But if I with it selected, because I just had it, we'll select it, and I'm going to click on the shape tool. Now the shape tool shows me my little nodes there, so I can fix where I'm a little bit off. Let's scroll in there. A little bit off on this one. Oops, not that one. I'll move it out of the way. This one. And then adjust that one back in there. Right click and it shows me where I am. But I can also right click, because I'm in the shape tool, using that. And so I see my little blue nodes, the little blue boxes telling me where each of my points are. If I right click on that, I can add a point. So maybe I want to do this kind of add a point there, where I just come in so I don't have to be exactly on the seam, which always is nice for me. I mean, this is a very simple technique that we use a lot of times when if you're one of those quilters that quilt with your embroidery machine or with your sewing machine, like free motion quilting. I flunked that class, which is why I like to do it with my embroidery machine. So I'm going to right click, add another point here, come in, add a point here, bring that in a little, do that. Right click, add a point, pull it in, and that's a curved line. And here, I hope y'all aren't bored yet. And I'll do the same thing with both of these. Add a point, bring it in, and this one. Okay. Oh, now I certainly don't want that to be blue thread, so I'm going to select it with my select tool and change it to the brown. Because if I don't have to change thread, I'm really happy. Now I could do that same thing again through these, but you get the idea. I can stitch this any way I want to.
You make it look so easy, Tamara. You really do.
Well, it is, and it's just fun to do. And of course, I could change these run stitches. If I didn't want it to be a standard run, I could change it to a motif stitch. Now I'm getting crazy. But let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's really ugly, so let's undo and go back to the run stitch. I think I like that a lot better now. So, Nancy, any questions so far?
We do have several. One really is a general support question, and it involves all of our programs. And several people have asked, and they gave me the question, our dear support team, and the answer, that if I had transitioned from a prior software and I would like to have a PDF of the My Block Piecer, the My Quilt Embellisher, or even Perfect Embroidery Pro, how can I get a PDF of that manual in the latest update? And it's very simple to do that. You go to your browser and you type in here to help.inspirationsupport.com, and you're directly connected with our support team. And of course, you can go to inspirationsupport.com at any time and also be connected and get your questions answered through the forum. So that was one question that hopefully we've covered well. Ms. Story, please let us know if we need to cover anything else in that area. But one question was, can I see the designs in My Block Piecer and Quilt Embellisher and even Perfect Embroidery Pro, and how do I do that?
Oh, well, that's an easy question. The easiest way, I think, to do it, well, there's two ways, actually. One is in your library, over here on the lower right-hand side of the screen. If I click on Library, whenever I load designs in, like when I save them from the software, like I did with this block, or when I save the owls here, it will save it in my designs as a default. All of my free designs are located right here. My Block Piecer free designs, and I can scroll down through those and pull out any one of them I want into onto my design page, my quilt embellisher free designs, and down further, Perfect Embroidery Pro free designs, and there are 300 of these, so you know we could scroll through those for quite a while, and the 20 designs from Perfect Stitch Viewer. The other designs that are in your library by default would be your dime free designs. These are the ones that you download every month. Here's the ones from November. Okay, and since I have all the programs, I have 15 of them, and the same with October and September. If I purchase any of our design sets, I can look at Inspiration Collections. Here's Butterfly Majesty. Those designs are put in there for me. Lace Borders I have in there. Lulu's Christmas I have in there. And all of that is great. I will tell you, in addition to that, you have right here, if you were on a previous branded software that is the same platform, if you look at this called Migrated Designs, this is where all of those designs that I added to that design library are located. They don't really move over here. They're still in the old directory. But speaking of directories, a better way possibly to view them is if I come over here, and now I'm at the bottom left-hand side of my screen, and select Windows Explorer, you know, where I can look at files. Let's make this bigger, and I'm going to come over here to C and find my dime directory. Click on that, and designs. This is my design library. It's all right here. And if I want to look at my free Perfect Embroidery Pro designs, let me make that a little bit bigger. I can click on that. And because I have Perfect Stitch Viewer, it shows me a picture rather than just a list of all those numbers, because I have no idea what any of those are. So I want to look at it in medium, large, or extra large icon view. So I'm in large icon view, and if I click on one of these, it'll show me a picture of it over here. This is this is one of the best programs in terms of you know, giving you a superpower. When I do this, it's like I have X-ray vision. I can see what's in the drives or the different directories on my computer. I love it. If I find a stick in my sewing room that I've used to put designs on my machine and I have no idea what's on there, I can put it in and look at it. Oh, there's some dogs in here. Those are cute. But I can see what everything is. Oh, this one's cute. This is cats. I don't golf, so I don't know why I clicked on that. But lots of fun designs. So that's how you can find where they are and see them. If you don't have Perfect Stitch Viewer, you can see them through your design library if they're in there. Otherwise, get Perfect Stitch Viewer and you can see designs all over your computer. It's very simple.
Thank you. Do we have time for another question?
Yes.
What about adding in new fabrics?
Oh, well, as a confessed fabricaholic, that is so easy to do. Now, you know, with both Peacemaker and, or My Block Piecer, excuse me, and My Quilt Embellisher, you get these libraries. I've got to select one. Hang on. I have to select a color here. It comes loaded with these 2 fabric libraries, which are awesome. There's the Batik Textiles and this huge collection from Moda, which is awesome. But I happen to have other fabrics that are not in that collection, and it's very simple to add those. For example, I added in last week a bunch of these Patrick Loose, I'm not sure how his name's pronounced, but I love his stuff. I added all these in from a website. I went, click on all of those, copy, paste. If you go to a website, a manufacturer's website, look on the selvage of the fabric, and it will tell you the name of the fabric. Google that. And you can simply go there and copy them, then it will load them onto your computer, right-click, and I can click Add and go find those out there on my computer. And for me, they're usually in Downloads, which is somewhere out here, or wherever I've saved them. Actually, I saved those Patrick Lewis ones. Are they right here? No, I saved them somewhere, but it's been a while, so I've forgotten now. But I could search them on my screen and find them, and then just click on it and click on all the ones you want to add, click Open, and there you go. They're in there. It's so simple to do. I've added a bunch of fabrics from up here with my fabrics, ones that I have. I did a bunch from quilting software that I have and added some of those in. And I don't always need the exact color. A lot of times what I'm looking for is the hue, the tone, how busy the fabric is or how close to solid it is, the kind of feeling of the fabric, if you know what I mean. So I can audition colors. So before I ever even go to buy fabric, I can go, well, I want something that's, you know, looks like this, or a small print here and a more of a neutral here, and all of that. Very simple to do. So I can create new folders, show contents, refresh, add, all of that. Very easy to do. And, whew, what happened there? Okay. And all the fabric libraries are shared by all of our programs. So here's the cool thing. Even though I don't have this fabric library button in Perfect Embroidery Pro, when I go to add fabrics, or look at fabrics or assign fabrics for applique or something, I always have that in my command tab. Even in Perfect Embroidery Pro, I can pull up the same library because it's a shared library. Just like our fabric stash is shared, whether we're doing quilting or garment sewing or whatever it is that we're doing, we share that fabric library, that fabric stash. It's shared in the program as well. Did I answer that for you?
Thank you so much, Kim. I believe you did. Thank you so much. It's very clear. But these programs just scale wonderfully within one another.
Yes, they do.
Very clear through your explanation. Well, we can continue with the webinar. I can ask more questions.
All right.
It's up to you.
Okay. Now, what I want to do, I want to show you another one. I had so much fun with this. I'm kind of thinking outside of the hoop with this. I want to go back to my block piecer and open up a new page. Now this one, I'm actually going to post it once I've finished putting it together, which you'll see what I mean in just a minute. I'll post it on the Facebook page. For those of you who don't know, we have a Facebook page. I'll also post it in the forum. I just got to figure out how to do that. But it's a fun little project here for the holidays. The first thing I'm going to do is select my block. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to go to my geese blocks. And of course, you know we can search through blocks now with the Find tool, through blocks, through fabric. You can search by name and go up or down through the different folders in that, which is quite helpful. And I want half goose chase. So GH, okay. Half goose chase number 2. I want this block right here. And I'm going to click. Okay, because when I bring it in, I'm going to resize it in a couple of different ways. First of all, I'm going to select this piece right here. I don't want an HP update. Sorry. And I want to cancel. If you look at where I'm clicking down at the bottom, I want to remove the extra colors. They're kind of in my way. I have those default 8. And I just have 2 colors in this block. So I'm going to select this blue section and then right-click to change that to the yellow. All right? Now, follow along with me if you will. I'm going to select this one, and I want to make it only 1.5 inches wide. I'm going to uncheck Maintain Aspect Ratio and make this 1.5 and click Apply. Now let's scooch it back over here so it's lined up with the other ones. Okay. Then on this one, let's see how wide that is. On Transform, oh, that's perfect. It's 3 inches wide, which is exactly what I want. But I want to make this taller. I want this to fit in the biggest hoop that I have. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to do Control-A and change the overall size from 6.5 inches by 8 inches to 6.5 by 11 inches. Actually, we could do 11.25 and apply. Okay. So now, oh, I just realized I'm upside down. So now I want to select everything. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. I'm going to select everything and let's flip it that way. All right. So this is one. I'm going to do 2 of these mirror imaged with another section of the blue in between, and I'm going to make a placemat. And I'm going to quilt it all in the hoop. So this is my first one. I'm going to change the blue to green because I'm going to make this kind of like a Christmas tree. Let's select a green. I like the dark green. Then I'm going to select the yellowish, beige, well, kind of cream color, and I might make that like a sky blue. And click OK. Okay, so you see where I'm going here? Now, I want to take this. I'm going to select it. I want to go to my workflow tool. I'm going to select the hoop that I want for it, which is going to be my 200 by 300 hoop, and click Auto Build. Oh, good. It didn't give me an error. And preview. Isn't that great? It does it all in one hooping. I love that. And then click Save. And do that as Tree 1. And click Save. So here I have Tree 1, and I would save it in the format for my machine. Here's my artwork. Here's the PDF with all of my instructions. Close that. Close. Now I want to flip it the other way. Okay, this is the other side of my placemat. To Control, well, it's already all selected. So I will click on my workflow tool, Auto Build. Let's click Preview. There's that side. And I will save that one as Tree 2. And there you go. And I would save it in the format. I'm just cutting corners right here because we're getting close on time. Then the last thing I want to do is I want to get rid of these 2 sections because I want it to be a placemat. I want to do this section all by itself. And really, I don't even have to save that. I'm just going to save it as a C2S file because there's no piecing involved. So this will be Tree Middle and save. Now, I'm going to go over to, and of course I could go through the cutter and cut all the pieces for that and everything else. I'm going to go over to my quilt embellisher, open up a new page. Let's go to our library. And in my library, I'm going to right-click and say refresh because it doesn't know I've created all this tree stuff. Now here, down here, okay, here's Tree 1. I'm going to pull this in All right, there's my design. That's my artwork. It's in the same size. If I click it and look here, it's 6.5 inches wide by 11.25 inches high, and that's good. Then I'm going to go to tree 2. I'm going to pull that one in, and again, it's the right size. Then I'm going to go to, what do I call it, tree middle. Oh, it didn't save it in here. Okay, you know what? We can deal with that. What I want to do is, I will ungroup this one. Ungroup. Take this, copy and paste it. Copy, paste. Let's move it out of the way over here. Group this one back. And I'll show you why I'm doing all this grouping. Because I want to line these up. I'm going to decorate it all together and then break it up because that makes it work. Doesn't that look like a Christmas tree? Kind of the middle of it. You're eating on the middle of a Christmas tree. And I'm going to select it and just line it up so they're all there together. Now, when I go to my sequence view, you see I've got all of these different colors everywhere. I'm going to select everything and do a color sort because this will make it easier for me to decorate it. I want to select the blue first. Oh, we got to ungroup. Ungroup. All right. Now select just the blue. And I can turn this into stitches. I want to look at advanced stipple stitches. And let's see. I want something that looks like snowflakes or wind. Ooh, that kind of looks like a snowflake, except it's got 8 points. And convert that. And of course, we need a bigger size on that one. Let's do 20 millimeters instead of 10. That's a little better. We could even go bigger. Let's do 30. I love auditioning stitches. That's pretty good. I might have another. Well, let's work on the green in the meantime. I'll select my green, and I could do stippling. Let's look at advanced stippling. Ooh, ferns. How fun is that? So I'll select the ferns. Ooh, that's a lot of stitches. Let's make that much larger and click enter. Let's look at it in 3D so we don't see all of those jump stitches. Well, that's kind of cool, but I would rather them go the other way. Instead of going up and out, go down and out. So that's not a problem. I select, I go to my shape tool, and I can change the angle. So right here, you see this angle is right side up. Let's turn it to where it's the other way, upside down. Oh, it just changed it for that one. I could group all of these together, but I would do it in sections. So let's undo that. Let's try another design here. Let's do Shape Echo. And how about Shape Echo is one of my favorites. Those of you who have seen my presentations know I love things I can do with this. This is not going to look good when you first see it. Ooh, because that's really, really close together. Let's do 25 as our density. Well, that's kind of interesting. But let's select it by my sections like this, and I'm going to combine those so that they're all in one section. Then if I do shape, I can move the top of, or the center of my shape. See, where do I want it? Let's see what happens if I move it up here. Nope, I don't like that. I want it to be, see what if I move it down here? That's better. What if I move it over here? And perhaps I just have the wrong shape. Let's change that to I want it to go, that's what I need. I'll just do the square on point. Change my density, which is the distance between my rows of stitches. Do my select or shape tool and move that up there. Oh, but I want it to go down, so I want to move that. Oops, not the right tool. You notice if when you're doing in the shape tool, you have this little cursor. When it turns pink, then you're holding the centering tool of that, and you can move it. So now it's kind of going down toward the center. Anyway, you can play around with that, and I can set this all up, then save it in sections like this section here, and save that for the first one. So I'm going to stitch this out, and I will put it up on Facebook and let you all see what I've come up with. And I'm going to show you in a webinar coming up in the not too distant future, I'm not sure what month it is, how to put these sections together, because this is going to be 3 different hoopings, and we'll have a good time with that. So what other questions do we have?
As I watch you do this, Tamara, every single time you change this, I mean, each quilt block could be a unique piece of art that's just custom based on someone's preferences.
Right.
There's just so many options. So many options.
And all of my family are getting virtual quilts for Christmas this year.
There you go.
And if they don't like it, I can change it so fast. Yes. What questions do you have?
But what kind of stabilizer is in the hoop, and is there batting in the hoop too?
Oh, thank you so much for asking that question. Yes. The stabilizer I like to use when I'm piecing. I usually like a soft tearaway, like half water soluble, half tearaway, that I can hoop the stabilizer, then do all of my piecing on the top. Then when I decorate it while it's in the hoop, I just slide my batting and backing underneath and do the quilting part. And leave the stabilizer in there, because if it's half wash away, half tear away, once that quilt is washed, you don't even know any stabilizer was in there. There's a little bit of fiber left between the fabric and the batting, and that's okay. And if you don't wash it, that's okay too, because it's soft. So it doesn't make it really stiff and hard. It's great for wall hangings and for quilts that you might actually, use.
Yeah. Okay, another question is, does the software hook up to the cutter via USB cord?
Well, my computer hooks up to my cutter with the USB. I don't think we can send it. I save mine. I have the silhouette, and I save it as an SVG file. Then I launch my silhouette software that allows me to send it. I don't know what it looks like with, that's a very good question. I need to research that. Nancy, you need to get me a scan and cut so I can answer that question. Because if it sees the scan and cut as a device, then you could save the file directly to it rather than saving it on your hard drive and then copying it. So that's a great question we need to find out the answer to.
We can address that again in another future webinar. Yes, our next one is coming up on November 18th, and the actual software platform is Perfect Embroidery Pro. And the topic is what's in my toolbox, where Tamara will walk us through the basics and explore all the tools in Perfect Embroidery Pro. And whether you're a newbie or an expert, you can learn more, because we've added so many new things to this software. And one thing I would like to encourage you to do is not only, again, pre-register for all of these webinars, but Tamara, can you pull up Inspired by Dime on your screen very quickly?
Sure.
And I just want everyone to know how to register for an Inspiration Social.
Well, you go right here to where it says Inspiration Webinars and click. And as you can see, Well,
at the very top. See the button at the top where it says locate an inspiration social near you?
Oh, for the socials. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Inspiration socials. Sorry. Right
Right.
here.
There's actually a couple of ways to get there. This particular landing page tells you a little bit about what you will learn during an inspiration social, and the page Tamara's just pulled up. If you key in a zip code,
or a city. I was just in Cleveland, Ohio. Had such a great time at Pins and Needles. There you go. You can see all of the dealers around you.
And all of the events are live for registration. If they're posted, even if it's in April of 2015, they're all posted and live for registration. So in any event, thank you so much for that, Tamara. Thank you for presenting for us this evening and, further inspiring us on how we can get the most out of our inspiration software. Dory and Nannery, Chris, Nancy, Bob, all of you guys and our support team, which we could not live without. Thank you for helping us through this.
Thank you.
If we haven't answered your questions during the webinar, again, as Tamara mentioned, we will follow up via email and answer your questions accordingly. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and we hope you were fully inspired.
And if you do any blogs like this, post them on our Facebook page. I would love to see what you guys do. Thank you, Nancy and Dory and Chris and Nancy and Bob. Thank you all very much, and I look forward to 2 weeks from tonight.
Same place, same time.
Same place, same time.
That's right. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Have a great
Good
day,
night.
a great evening. Bye-bye.